Hey, how's it going? Thank you so much for being here today. This is the first live stream I've ever done on my channel, but I want to use this as an opportunity today to really address any questions that are going on, and also to say thanks for we hitting 50,000 subscribers on the channel. This is super exciting for me, something I never thought could happen, and it all happened because of you guys, and I want this to be my way of giving back. So if you're here on the live right now, thank you so much for being here. I think there's going to be a ton of value, but if you're watching on the replay, I think there'll definitely be a ton of value there as well, because the conversation is really going to be steered by the different questions that get asked in the stream. We may jump into Premiere and do a couple different things, kind of show you some stuff, but I'm really excited to be able to do this. And I'm really looking forward to the different questions that you have. So let's see who we got hanging out here in the chat. See, is that Anashbi? I'm sorry if I mess up your name. Anajbi, man, thank you so much for being here. Please let me know if you have a question. Drop it down in the chat, and I'd be happy to answer it. Who else do we got here in the chat? All right. Yeah. So if you're hanging out here in the live stream, just let me know you're here down in the chat, and then we'll get this thing rolling. But I want to say I just spent it's been about a week and a half ago now. I was in Sweden hanging out with some creators. Epidemic Sound invited us out to their 2022 Creator Summit, and it was an absolute blast. The fact of like what Epidemic Sound has done. This isn't sponsored at all by them, but what they've done and what they've put together. In order to bring creators together and to establish relationships with creators and their brand is just absolutely amazing. So if you're not using Epidemic Sound, this isn't like a sales pitch or anything like that, but I totally recommend. I have links to their stuff down in the comments below. You can check them out for 30 days for free if you want. Using the link down in the description. It's whatever you want. I just wanted to say that because I ended up getting sick right after the trip, and I haven't published. It's been about 2 weeks now. And I've had a lot of things going on in the background. But if you're just joining here in the stream, I hope to be able to kind of make up for that by answering a lot of the questions that you guys have. It looks like we got some more people coming into the stream now. So Real Savage Gamer, what's going on, man? Glad to have you here in the stream. Bagic, I'm gonna mess your name up. Bandoya, I'm so sorry. Thanks for being here in the stream, man. So the first question that we have here is how to edit drone videos. That's a great question. And it just depends on what you're looking for. So if you're editing drone footage and stuff like that, typically it's going to be of a larger file size. It depends on what kind of drone that you're using and things like that. But typically what I'll do is I'll go out and I'll fly my drone and I'll get whatever footage that I want and I'll shoot it at a certain frame rate because I'm going to slow it down or I'm going to either speed it up, not necessarily speed it up, but I'm going to slow it down and I'm going to make it look the way that I want. For example, right, if I'm doing a large landscape or establishing shot of like a mountain range or something, what I'll do is I'm going to shoot that maybe at a higher frame rate because I'm going to slow it down a little bit in post, meaning I'm going to drop that 60 frames per second footage down to 24 frames per second. And then from there, I'll determine whether or not that's what I want. So I like to get, have a little bit of options. So I'll shoot it at 24 frames per second and I'll also shoot it at 60 frames per second. So I have two different shots. So that's usually what I'll do. And for also, in addition to that, what I do is, and let me know down in the stream if my audio is not loud enough or if there's any issues with audio or something's going on visually. Just give me a heads up and I'll fix it. But yeah, what you're gonna do is use that drone footage as ways of kind of to drive the story, right? So again, I'm gonna take typically like a drone shot. I will use that to kind of as the introduction to a new scene or something along those lines. For example, like you see in a lot of Peter McKinnon videos, he's going, he's doing talking, he's vlogging and things like that. And then afterwards, when he's getting ready to go into the next scene, the B-roll will cut right to some sort of aerial shot. That's just one of many different examples. So that's a way that you could, edit drone videos. I hope that answers your question. If there's something more specific that you're looking for, feel free to drop it down in the chat. Let's see. Yeah, I'm sorry. I butchered your name. I apologize. Yeah, but I'm so glad to, have you guys here in the stream. Like I was saying that I just recently got back from Sweden. Epidemic Sound flew myself and 8 other creators out there to hang out with them for their 2022 Creator Summit, and it was absolutely amazing. And it's just unbelievable what they're doing over there, and I'm so excited for the future for them because they're doing magnificent things with creators as well as the artists. So, and I just got over a sickness right after the trip, so I've been a little inactive lately. But again, I want today's stream to hopefully be a little bit of a give back to one, to say thank you for, we reached 50,000 subscribers, which is unbelievable. You think about 50,000 people in one building, it's insane. And then on top of that, just, the fact that I get to hang out with you guys and just kind of, you guys get a little bit more of a closer look at what, goes on, and you can, have a little bit of more of a personal relationship with me. I hope that makes sense. I just recently subscribed to you a few minutes ago and hoping to learn a lot more in video editing. Yeah, man. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you got any questions, feel free to drop them down in the chat. I definitely will answer anything that you have. Biggest thing is my channel is based from like beginner all the way to a little bit more advanced editing and things like that. But it's always good. One thing that is really, I've come to know through my experience is that video editing is a perishable skill. And if you haven't edited videos in a while, or let's say you're a seasoned video editor and you haven't edited videos in a while, you're definitely going to have to go back to the basics a little bit. There's little things like, oh yeah, how do you cut this clip? And when you revisit software and stuff like that, that can be a little bit of a hurdle there. But yeah, I'm happy to answer any of the questions you have down in the chat. Let's see what we got here. I mean, it's hard to pronounce. Yeah, I apologize for any names that I mess up. How do I stay updated on the latest tools and trends? So Adobe puts out information all the time. As far as like if you're asking along the lines of Adobe software, and feel free to drop in the chat if you're not referring to that, but Adobe releases information all the time. I find a lot of good information up on Twitter and things like that. You can find things on Twitter. You can find things, Reddit is another good place to find information. And then honestly, YouTube, right? So I follow, the creators that are giving the information that you're looking for. And typically you'll find the creators out there that will provide that information. When I was first getting started with making videos and things like that, trying to learn like new effects and things, I went out and found the information by looking for, searching the information online and seeing what the big names were popping up at the top of search, or the things that were recommended to me. So that's another good way to be able to stay up to date on the latest tools and trends. Adobe's always releasing information. You could check out Adobe's YouTube channel. You can also check them out on Instagram or Twitter. They're always releasing good information as far as like what is new and things like that. And I do the same on this channel. Whenever I see new tools and things that I feel like would be valuable for video editors and things like that, I make sure to try to make a point to make a video about that. Travis, what's going on, man? I appreciate you, buddy. It's been a long time. Good to see you here, man. Is GT 730 good for basic video editing and learning? Now, let me see GT 730. I'm just going to do a quick Google search for context. I'm not really familiar with it. Yeah, it looks like it's like type of computer and stuff like that. I'll tell you honestly, or something for a computer specifically. I edit on a MacBook Pro 2019, and it's something with a high amount. Let me look at how much RAM I actually have on this thing. Something with a decent amount of RAM on it, and I don't put anything on my actual computer when I'm editing, and that ensures that I have I'm able to move through things very quickly. So and edit very efficiently. Yeah, my MacBook is a 2019 MacBook Pro. It's got 32 gigabytes of memory, and it's got a 2.6 gigahertz processor on it. Yeah, so that's the biggest thing, is you want to have something with a decent decent processor, and something with a decent amount of RAM. And I would go for, it depends on your project too, right? So if you're editing something that is going to be like 4K footage, you're definitely going to want something with a lot of RAM. But if you're just getting started, I don't recommend going out and buying the most expensive computer when you first get started, right? Because first thing you want to do is try to land clients and start having that money start coming in. And what you can start, I started off on a very simple desktop computer when I first started editing video. I didn't even know that like that a processor mattered, or that, the amount of RAM. I just stored everything on my desktop, and yeah, it was super slow. But I was able to still make videos and things like that. So until you have like an established portfolio or something like that, or you're still like, once get your feet underneath you and you've learned how to start editing video, I definitely recommend you don't go out and buy the most expensive computer. Now, like, you can edit on a desktop, you can edit on a laptop. It really just depends on what your situation is. I prefer to edit on a laptop, and I'll use like an external monitor or something, because I like to travel and I like to be able to edit videos where on location, instead of being grounded to a desktop here in my office. So as far as like a GT 730, I'm not really sure. I haven't, it looks like it has pretty good reviews. Um, I can't really speak to it as to whether or not it's something good for video editing and learning. I would just say that something like with those specs around, like something at least maybe like 16 gigabytes of RAM at least, for your video editing, for your computer, for your video editing. Sorry. Next question is next thing is congratulations for 50,000 subscribers. Please upload some free pro LUTs and effects. Thank you. Good vibes. All right. I have some on my website. What I can do, I'll throw, I tell you what, I'll throw it in the chat real quick. I do have some free pro LUTs and effects and things like that you can find on my website. You just go to tylerwhiteproductions.com, and then you'll be able to navigate to my online store there, and you can find some of those free LUTs and things like that. I have paid LUTs and things that you can find down at links down in the description of this video. But there, and those paid LUTs are, some of, you'll have a lot more variety and things like that. Next thing is, thanks for all your help. You changed the way I edit my videos. That's so great to hear. Like, it's unbelievable the amount of influence and impact that I've, been able to reach out and do for people. So thank you so much. I love hearing that. Congratulations on 50K. I was wondering if you have figured out a consistent time or day for shorts upload that is giving you a good return. So yeah, I typically upload my videos in the morning, and it's really just based off of you got to look at your YouTube analytics and things like that, and see when most of the audience that you're serving. For example, right, if I have an audience in Japan and I'm serving a Japan audience, what time of day are they typically going to be awake? Well, you're going to definitely want to upload your videos probably later at night if you're based in the United States, because what will happen is it'll be daytime, and more people will, more eyeballs will be able to get on your videos and your shorts during that time. But honestly, with shorts and things like that, it's so new, it's hard to say. I typically upload my shorts at the same way that I upload my long form content. I'll upload my shorts usually like around 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it really just kind of depends. And biggest thing is, it's unique to everyone, because you got to look at your data and let your data drive your decisions. So as you upload more shorts and things like that, kind of go and look at your analytics and see like, okay, when are these shorts taking off? When is the best times to post those videos? So you can kind of just test it, right? So you test some where you upload early in the morning, you test some where you upload late in the evening or middle of the day. And then once you can write that stuff down, or you can just pull it straight from your analytics. And you can go from there and decide, okay, this is the best time for me to upload those shorts. Great question. Learn video online. What's up, man? So good to have you here in the stream. Steve from Learn Video Online was actually out in Sweden with me. He was at the Epidemic Sound event, and he's such a great friend of mine and such a good person. What was your favorite thing about being in Sweden, the Creator Summit? Congrats on 50K, mate. I think my favorite thing about the Creator Summit was the relationships that I was able to establish with the different creators and the Epidemic Sound team. It was like being in a room full of people that, being a creator, it's a little bit different. You go out in public, and Steve, you and I have had this conversation, but when you go out in public and you talk about YouTube things, people don't really understand the language that you're speaking. But I was able to be in a room with people that understood exactly what I was talking about. And it was just so great, such a great feeling. And then it was inspiring to be around people that, work, so much harder than I even do. So I think that was my favorite thing. Good to see you here. If you guys haven't already, go over to Learn Video Online. He's his channel, subscribe to his channel. He's such a great dude. Lots of good content. He does, teaches people how to make videos and put them up on the internet, using a smartphone and things of that nature. But very, very simple tips and things that are easy to take action on. So his channel is definitely worth checking out. Thanks for being here, buddy. Abik, thank you, mate. Thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it. Prince Izio Inte. I'm sorry if I mess up your names. Which is difficult, YouTube video editing or Instagram Reels or TikTok editing? Great question. So I would say that it just depends, right? What type of your project, what type of project you're working on. I will say that there's been shorts, and when I say shorts, like short form content, we'll call them Instagram Reels or TikTok, that are somewhat difficult to edit and things like that, depending on what the project is. But really, like I with my shorts and things like that, I'm trying to make them like 15 to 30 seconds long. So I would say they're probably a lot easier to be able to, pump out and things like that than it would be to be able to make your long form content, because there's a lot more things that go into long form content. Depends on the length of your video and stuff. So I'd say that Instagram Reels and TikTok videos are definitely more easier, and also because of the fact that Instagram and TikTok on there, you don't want to go for that, what we've seen in the past, that cinematic look doesn't do as well on Instagram and TikTok like it did on YouTube. So, just kind of it just depends on your project, but I'd say those short form videos are definitely a lot easier to edit. So good question. Thank you. Pro tips for gaming or game editing videos. I'm a noob, sir. So real savage gamer. I would say as far as your gaming videos and stuff like that, I'm not like, I started like way early on, like editing video games and stuff. You really just gotta kind of study what the people, the results that you're trying to get, right? So look at the people that have the results that you want, and then kind of model the way that you make those videos around that. So I'm not saying like copy every single thing that they do, but I guarantee that there's people that are doing similar things that are doing just as well. So obviously you're going to need some sort of music and things like that going on in the background. I know back in the day, Call of Duty videos, it was all about like syncing the shot to the specific music and things like that. So that might be one thing to do. So get familiar with how to sync things very well. And then things need to be extremely dynamic, and it needs to be powerful. A lot of the things, one of the biggest tips that I can give to someone is that as a video editor, is that when you're telling a story, it should almost be unnoticeable. For people like that, us that are video editors and watch videos, if you are editing a video or you're watching a movie, right? If you're watching a movie, you're looking at all these different things. Like I'm thinking about, like, I don't know, the Avengers or something. I'm looking at the color grade. I'm listening to the audio. I'm listening to all these different things. But to most people that watch videos or movies and things like that, they're not paying attention to those things. But the moment that they become noticeable to the person that is watching that video, has no background in video editing, is the moment that there is a mistake in most situations, right? There's a moment that's a mistake. So if you can edit videos in a way to where it becomes unnoticeable, and it's just that seamless, it's very pretty. People don't even know how to put it into words, but it's just that beautiful. That's where you want to start, and that's how you want to try to frame your videos. So as far as your gaming videos, I would definitely find something that is you can kind of find the results out there that you want and kind of model what you do, and borrow little ideas and things like that, and then come up with your own unique style. Like you don't have a style yet because you haven't really, you may or may not have gotten started. And so for like, go look at those gaming videos that you want, the type of style that you want, and then, model what you do around that, because there's all kinds of game videos. There's those like montages and things like that, but then there's also like commentaries, and a client might reach out to you to do an actual commentary or something like that. So that's the best advice I could give you for as far as gaming videos. Is learning videography important for video editing? I would say yes, absolutely, or at least being able to and have a good foundation. You don't have to be an actual videographer, but it does help as far as like understanding like the different things. And when you're working with a client, if maybe they're the videographer, you can kind of explain to them the things that you would like to happen. Right? For example, if they give you all this footage that's like 60 frames per second, but they want it to look super cinematic, and when you crunch it down to 24 frames per second, it's going to slow everything down. You wouldn't really have that knowledge if you didn't actually talk to the individual or have a good understanding. So videography, I definitely think having a background in that definitely does help. Cash cow videos. I don't. Please teach me about cash. Rayman. I don't really have anything that I can speak on about cash cow videos. definitely send me a DM on like Twitter or Instagram, and we can talk more about cash cow videos. I don't really have anything as far as like I can teach that right now. A lot of time is spent on content finding and making cash cow video. This is so disgusting. All right. Um, Tyler Watt asked, I just started using Premiere. I've been watching you a lot. You're very helpful. My question is there a way to show the tempo of an audio and line up the clips to the beat easier or other tips? So my question is, show the tempo of an audio. So you can definitely look at the tempo based off of the audio waveform and the clips to the beat easier. All right. So 1 second. I'm gonna pull up Premiere real quick. Yeah, so there's definitely ways that you could go about like syncing up things automatically. And I made a tutorial on this channel to where you could do that. Just trying to find the actual name of it. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So what you're going to want to do is utilize scene edit detection is a way to do it. And I'll just kind of explain it very quickly. Um, Scene edit detection, what you do is you'll go in, you'll drop your music on the timeline, and you don't have any video on the timeline yet. You've already like created a sequence. And what you'll do is you're gonna go and you'll see the audio waveform, like where the beats are going and things like that. And as that audio waveform is going along, you're gonna press, gonna set that marker. So what I'll do is I will not even look at the audio waveform and I'll just find that beep. So it's just like, and every time the bass hits, I'll create a marker. So mine's default set to M. So I'll press M on the keyboard and I'll make all those markers. And then what you'll do is you'll go into your project area. And again, like I said, you type in scene edit detection, Tyler White. Actually, you know what? I can link a video down in the description here in just a second. But yeah, what you'll do is scene edit detection, and that will kind of sync those videos, or you'll select all those clips, put them in the order that you want, right click, and then scene edit detection. And that should put them, I think it's scene edit detection. I don't want to, tell you wrong. But yeah, that's the way that there's a way to automatically just sync that straight to the timeline. I actually did a short on that not too long ago. Um, but yeah, the biggest drawback with that is that it's very like cut on the beat every single time. And what I would recommend that you do instead of doing that and automate, like just doing automating for like the editing to the beat, I would definitely think about your story and where it makes sense. If you constantly have that repetition going, people will pick up on that, and subconsciously what they will do, it will become like repetitive or exhausting, and they'll click away, or they won't be as interested in the video. So what I definitely recommend doing is in listening and being intentional with your music, right? So when you see those bass hits and things like that, you always want to add b-roll and things to, or have your a-roll set up to enhance your story. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend like syncing it to the beat automatically every single time. That will get you ahead a little bit, but it doesn't really make that much sense, because if you have things with a lot of beats in there that you want to sync, what'll happen is you'll have a bunch of little tiny little cuts, and that doesn't make any sense. So you want the music and video should complement each other to tell the story. So you want to make sure that try to sync those things up as you go. Here's what I do. All right. So what I'll do is I'll pretty much drop all of my video onto the timeline, and then from there I'll have like 3 or 4 different music options. And I'll go through and I'll kind of just decide which music that I want, and then I'll drop my music on the timeline, and then I'll kind of listen to that music and I'll find those beats, because there's highs and lows in a song, and there needs to be highs and lows in a video. And because what that does is it's just like, you're bringing everybody up and you bring them back down and you bring them up, and it's constantly taking someone through this roller coaster. And so what you want to do is try to get them to the very end. It's for YouTube videos specifically, but you want someone to watch your entire film if you work on it, and it makes things interesting. So that's what I would recommend doing. Yes, the automation side of things is really good to be able to do things quickly, but I haven't seen very good results as far as like being able to use it on like big projects and things like that. I hope that answers your question. Real Savage Gamer, thanks, man. Keep growing. I appreciate it. Um, a lot of my time is spent on content funding. Oh, really? Okay, gotcha. Let's see. As a video editor, whose work do you admire? Oh man, there's so many video editors out there that I admire their work. Um, it just trying to think some that off the top of my head. There's a lot of content creators that I admire, like Sam Coulter is a great video editor. Matt Como, really good video editor. Peter McKinnon is good, and I know he doesn't do a lot of like his own editing and stuff these days, but I know his hands are definitely in that. Um, there's a lot of folks. I kind of look at like the film side of things. So and I couldn't even tell you probably a lot of the editors that edit some of these videos and movies, but that's where I draw a lot of inspiration. So like shows like Stranger Things and stuff like that, and and there's a lot of things like there's a lot of inspiration drawn from those types of TV shows and things like that. So that's the type of work that I admire. The cat don't mind. Congratulations. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thanks for being here. Prince Ezio Inte, is there a way to remove or lessen background noise? For example, the noise when driving inside a car. Yes, absolutely. Now, the big thing is what you want to do is here's the thing: what goes into the cam or what goes into the microphone. It just depends on the severity of the audio levels and stuff. Not every situation is there going to be. Obviously, you're not going to be able to completely remove that. Now, there's a denoise feature inside Premiere Pro, so all you have to do is actually, I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like now. One sec. Go ahead and pull up Premiere. Yeah, just pulling up Premiere Pro right now. Okay, so you should be able to see Premiere here. And then I'm just going to go ahead and drag something onto the timeline. Now, what you would do, I tell you what, let's just do this here. All right. And then just for the sake of just demonstration, what you're going to do is you'll go over here to effects and then you type in denoise and then just click and drag that onto that clip. Go up here to effect controls, go to edit, and then you're going to increase or decrease the amount. So by default, it does a decent job. And then there's a heavy noise reduction, and then there's a light noise reduction. The biggest thing that I can recommend though, because I mean, a lot of times I I use this a little bit, but I don't use it too much because I try to take care of those things on site whenever I'm like filming a video or something like that. I try to make sure that I capture those things the best way possible. But that should denoise will help you out when you start to hear like it sounds robotic or starting to sound really muddy and things like that. I definitely recommend clean it up the best way that you can, but it's almost more harmful to cut that by muddying it up. All right. Tylo Watt. All right. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. All right. Looks like we have a super chat here. D-Row, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. That means so much to me. It means so much to me that everybody here is hanging out. And here and I was kind of worried. This is my first time doing a live stream, and I wasn't sure that I didn't know how many people were actually going to show up, but I'm so appreciative that you guys are here because this community has grown so much, and I hope that it continues to grow, and I hope that you're getting value out of this here. So again, if you haven't asked a question already, feel free to drop a question down in the chat. I'm gonna go back through, just look at the chat here to see who all we got hanging out. I want to make sure that I didn't miss anybody. Again, if you have a question, feel free to throw it down in the chat. Again, if you guys here's a question that I have for you guys. If you're getting value out of this, let me know down in the comments right now. If you're getting any value out of this, please let me know. If there's anything else that you would like for me to expand upon more, let me know. All right, Rayman asks, what are your strongest skills as a video editor? I say my strongest skills as a video editor are probably the preparation side of things and my like I don't want to like just sit here and like say that I'm not the best video editor in the world. Obviously there are struggles and things like that. But one of the things that I feel like I'm pretty strong with is definitely organization. And I say this all the time to people whenever I'm doing like consultations and things like that. If you are unorganized, you're making your editing process so much longer. An organized editor is a much faster editor because if you've ever edited a video for, you've been in that situation where like you're looking for something and you cannot find it, and you don't want to ever. You will. It is inevitable that you will find yourself in that situation. So always prepare. And so what I'll do is I can show you. I didn't come up with this myself, but I can kind of show you what my process kind of looks like, anyways. So what I'll do is let me do this. Pop back over here. Actually, wrong one. 1 second. All right, yeah, but my biggest thing is like organization, and I'm pulling it up right now. It's as far as like how I organize my files and everything, so that I can make sure I can find anything that I need. So we'll go into. All right, here we go, right here. Sorry, I got things going all over the place. But yeah, so this is what it looks like for me, right? I don't remember who I got this from, but he's also another video editor. This I can take no credit for this because this wasn't something I came up with myself, but I definitely borrowed it, and it's definitely helped me. So this is where I save all my projects. So all my Premiere Pro projects go inside of here. All of my video footage goes inside of here. My set audio. So if I have external audio or anything like that, it will go inside this folder here. Music and sound effects go here, GFX, stills, miscellaneous, so on and so forth. The final export will go down there and in that folder there. And then whenever I'm inside of Premiere Pro, what you'll see is I will have different bins and things like that. So I'll go over here to my project window, and one of the first things I will do, let me go ahead and extend this real quick, is I'll start creating bins. And this one will be like for the clips. And then I'll select all of these, and then I'll drop them inside of here. And then go ahead and collapse this. And obviously you want to, within reason, right? I feel like there's also a such thing as being too organized to the point to where it slows down your process. So it's, people start getting into labeling and different things like that. When it comes to your workflow, I definitely recommend that you are, with your workflow and stuff, I definitely recommend that you are doing things that make sense for you, that enhance your workflow. You don't have to, if going in and making bins and things like that makes your process too long, find a different way to be able to stay organized. But I think that's probably one of my strongest things. Speed is something that I've always, constantly working on and stuff like that. But it really just kind of depends on it just what the project is for me. Great question. I appreciate that. What do we got? Faisal Haroon. I hope I said that correctly, sir. Hi, sir. Peace upon on you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Dero, first, thanks for all your previous videos. They've been a big help. I cannot upload new preset packs in Premiere Pro. Could you possibly explain how to do this? Thanks again. So for your preset packs and things like that, a lot of times, what you can do is import. If you're doing like Mogerts and stuff like that, I can show you real quick. So if you have like a Mogert, what you're going to do is go down in here, go to Window, and go down to the Essential Graphics tab, and go down here to where it says install motion graphics template, and then you can throw it right inside of there. Hope that helps. All right. I'm sorry, I'm operating on one monitor right now, so you see all these different things. Let's see. Is video editing your main income or a side job? It's a side hustle right now. My main job, I'm a videographer right now. And it's my side thing. And being a content creator is as well. Like I'll do some freelance stuff from time to time, but a lot of my stuff is content creation, and doing videography work. And one of the things that I do as a videographer is I'm a video editor. So that's just, some of the things that I do. But right now, being a video editor on it, like outside of my corporate job, is also what I do as a side hustle. Sir, I want to make great videos. I want to make videos with animations and good transitions, like animated transitions. Where to learn these things, and what software should I download? Now, careful with the difference. This is what I would say for people that are big. So when I first started, I wanted all the crazy transitions. I wanted like, oh my gosh, all these seamless different things. I would be careful with the different transitions that you use. The transitions should make sense, right? So for example, if you're doing a real estate video, like where you're doing real estate videography and you're just going through a house and you have this crazy like spinning transition and stuff like that, that could be something that is a little bit jarring and may take away from the value of the video. So trying to think, handy seamless transitions, I think, was one that I used for the longest time. A lot of the transitions I make myself these days, and I will be coming out with transition packs in the future. So yeah, I would definitely, handy seamless transitions was one that I used for a little while, and I was using that out of After Effects. I'm pretty sure you can use that in Premiere Pro as well. But those were some of the few. There's so many different options, and a lot of things out there, right? So uh, Envato Elements, I know they have, and I don't use Envato at all anymore, but they have options out there too, various different templates and stuff that you can purchase, and they're very inexpensive, that you can use as well. Well, that's a great question. That man Leo asked, "What's your favorite food?" What is my favorite food? I'd probably say, I don't know, buffalo chicken wings? I don't know, it's kinda weird. Buffalo chicken wings or steak, I could probably eat that every single day, and be fine. Some people get tired of food. Those are probably my favorite foods. Great question. Well, speaking of great question, all right, that man Leo. I know that when I announced that I was going to be doing the stream, I said I was going to be doing some giveaways and stuff like that. That man Leo, what I want you to do, I'm going to be giving you my free, or not my free, but I'm going to be giving you my LUT pack, right? So this is a LUT pack that's in my one of my digital products right now. It's I think it's $8.99 or something, $8. I'm going to be giving that to you for free. So what I want you to do is DM me on Twitter or Instagram, either or, and I will be giving you a free LUT pack. Thank you so much for the great question. Those are questions I want to hear. So, I mean, any of the questions, we're all hanging out here and having a good time. And if you're enjoying this, here on the stream, feel free to share it with somebody that you think will get value out of this, because that's what I want to do. Let's make this community even bigger, so that that way we can bounce ideas off of one another and things like that. So share this with somebody that you feel like would need this information, because that's what I want to do for them. But yeah, send me that DM on Twitter, and I will be sending over a LUT pack your way. We will communicate, and I will get that over to you. Thanks for the question. All right. Prince Ezio Inte, what is the best site to post your video portfolios online? Now, there's many different ones that you can do. Fiverr is one that is very common. Like if you want to do like freelance work and stuff, that's one that where you can post like little snippets and things. But what I think is much stronger is to have your own website, and you can upload your videos to like Vimeo, which or YouTube. Vimeo, last I heard, they post your videos are very very high quality on Vimeo. Like, with YouTube, they have to compress your videos because of the amount of videos that go on. But definitely like have a website, because there's so much power in having a website and so much authority in that. So when you have a website, you're already a sense of authority. And so I definitely recommend what you'll do is like use something like Squarespace. I use Squarespace for my website. They're, very, very easy to work with. Like as far as like, you don't have to worry about being how to create these different things. They have templates for everything, and you can very easily design or customly design them so that it doesn't look like you are using a template at all. So I would definitely recommend having your own website. And then what you can do is you can have, you have to, there's a little bit of a learning curve when it comes to like a marketing strategy. You can do it, check out, information online, look on YouTube. You'll find really good information out there as far as like how to market yourself as a videographer, and or a video editor, and just go from there. I would say this simply: you can start on Fiverr just to start getting in some revenue, like getting some money coming in. And once you have money coming in, you can take that money that you're making and and put it towards actually being able to pay for hosting a website. And that way your project or your portfolio and stuff can live on there. You just want to be able to do something, right? So if you're working with a client, or you want to send your information to clients, you want to be able to send that to somebody and it all exists in one place. So Fiverr's a good place to get started, or just, I think Upwork is another one that you can use to be able to do freelancing. Great question. Hey, send me a DM on Instagram or either Twitter, and I will send you over a free LUT pack. That's Prince Ezio Inte. Great question, man. All right. How can I edit content faster? Wow, Raymond, there's so many different factors. It's a great question, but there's so many different factors. I'll say this, right? Start with what you're editing on now. What type of computer are you editing on? Are you editing on something that was like, super super old and exist whenever dinosaurs were walking the earth? Then definitely want to maybe upgrade those things. But again, as far as your software too, you want to use a software. You want to be using a video editor. Premiere Pro does really well with this. It's you have it on your computer, and you don't want to have a whole bunch of junk on your computer. So one of the biggest issues that I had early on was I was saving a lot of my, projects and things onto my actual computer. I found, seen a dramatic difference in speed when I started saving everything to an external hard drive. And I save everything to that external hard drive. And what happens is now I have so much, room for my computer to be able to breathe. And another thing is you don't want to like push the envelope on the actual like the applications and things that you have on your computer. If you have like a bunch of different programs on your computer and you're pretty much maxing out your computer's memory hard drive space, you're going to run into those issues. So clear that up, make sure there's a good like amount of room on your computer left for your computer to be able to breathe. And then next is, when you're editing, I would dump everything from your hard drive into Premiere, and then I would only edit on Premiere. It depends on like because not everybody has the fastest computer. I would, put it into Premiere, and every other browser is all closed out. All right, so close out all your browsers. Make sure you don't and make sure you actually quit those programs. Don't put anything like don't have like Google Chrome up, in the background going on. Don't have like, 3 or 4 different ones, because what that's doing is it's taking away from your computer's performance. And so you close all those things out, make sure they're fully closed out. And the only thing that should be open is the programs that you need to be able to edit your video. And that will make things run a lot faster. Additionally, in Premiere Pro, clear your media cache. All right. So if you don't know how to do that, I'll show you how to do that real quick. I made a video on it. But all you're going to do is you're going to go over here, go to Premiere Pro, go to Preferences, Media Cache. All right. And then in here, you can see this folder here. All right. Before I go too far ahead, make this your external hard drive, right? So what this is doing, right? By default, what Premiere Pro does is they actually put this on your computer. Like this actually saves to your actual computer. You can actually map this to your hard drive, and that's where mine lives at, is on my hard drive, my an external hard drive rather. And that takes all those media cache files and gets them off of your computer, freeing up more space. And then what you can do, some people have never done this before, and you'll see it's like so many files. This is something that bogs down your computer. So just click delete here, and then select delete unused media cache files, and then it'll say, and I haven't deleted mine in a while. Apparently, I mean, I probably have plenty in there. I don't really think about this because it's going on an external drive. But if you don't have an external hard drive, this is something that can really, really speed up your stuff. But yeah, once that goes through, what you'll do is you're going to see that it probably increases your performance dramatically. Another thing that I would do is make sure that go down here to media cache management. And this really just depends on your workflow. Automatically delete cache files older than 7 days. And what that does is if I'm working on a project, I'm probably not working on that project for any longer than a week to 2 weeks. So what I do, because I need those cache files for the project that I'm working on, I set mine to 7. You can change yours to like 14. You can change it to whatever number you want, but it just needs to be realistic to the amount of time that it would take for you to edit your video. And what that does is you don't even have to go in here and delete this because Premiere will automatically do it for you. Another thing that you can do is go down here to memory. And so you can see I have 32 gigabytes of RAM installed. RAM reserved for other applications. I change that to the lowest number and it will commit. So basically I have 29 gigabytes of RAM dedicated to Premiere Pro. And so what that does is it will make Premiere Pro, the performance run a heck of a lot faster. So those are just a few of them. Great question. I appreciate that. What else? Let's see. Fiscal Haroon. I'm sorry, I keep messing up your names. I want to make a production house to make an effective videos like short films for youth, for education purpose, and any advice and suggestions. So I would definitely, yeah. So here's a couple. I'm not a huge fan of green screens. As a video editor, you're like, what? How are you not a fan of green screens? I'm just not, because there's a lot of cleanup and stuff that goes on with green screens. Where they make sense, I'll definitely use them, right? So if I'm using them for like VFX and things where I want to like create a cool scene, fine. But what a lot of people do with their studios is you'll see like this back wall right here will be a green screen, and that wall over there will be a green screen. You got all these fake different backgrounds. So I would definitely have yourself like design your studio in a way to where you can like repurpose what you do, in different ways to where, repurpose it. And like, so this wall is this backdrop, that wall over there is a backdrop, or just maybe different rooms have different scenes. And that would be really cool. And make sure that obviously, you want to make sure you have full control of that, those different scenes and stuff like that. So obviously soundproofing. So if you make a production house, there's, different types of insulation that will, better soundproof your rooms and things like that. And make sure you invest in some sort of soundproofing and stuff. So the list kind of goes on, but that's kind of the things that I would think about. Don't go the green screen route. That's the way I see a lot of companies do whenever they're trying to be quick, and because they try to make videos very fast. But you also see like all this weird little like noise and stuff going on around their face and ears and things like that, and it doesn't look good at all. Um, we got having a good edited videos help grow a YouTube channel. Yes, absolutely, and it really defines. It's I think that it's kind of subjective when it comes to like good. What's a good edited video? You got to think about a well edited video is a video that is that goes from start somebody goes from start to finish. And how can you on YouTube, how can you determine whether or not that video was edited well? Well, I can tell you how. You go to your average, your audience retention metrics, and you go in there and you look at the very beginning and you look at the very end. And is it a straight line? 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be a straight line. It's always going to have those, that little bit of a slope. And so what do you do? So what you want to do is those areas where they fall off, you want to try to, you want to like try to change up the way you're doing things and edit. You want to have like a lot of things going on at the very beginning to kind of hook the viewer and make things engaging. And you want to make sure that your videos are dynamic, but you also want to make sure that, it makes sense. And so you want to try to, the way that you do that is you measure it, and you measure it by the average viewer duration, like the amount of audience retention, because the majority of your audience goes from the start of the video to the end. You can go ahead and say that that was a well edited video for YouTube. I hope that answers your question. All right. And vlog lectures to teach youth in an effective way. Kindly, any questions? So, and vlog. Okay. So if you're like editing a vlog and stuff like that, just drive story. So take the vlog is going to kind of just steer the story, and then just support the story with like B-roll and things like that, and just the music. Music's a big one, right? So they don't have, when they're shooting the vlog, they don't have the music. So use the music to kind of, make that story kind of push along. Loop Valdez. My Twitter handle, it should be in the description of this video. If not, just go to twitter.com /TYLERWHTE. So my last name without the I. Lou Valdez, great question. Okay. All right. Yeah. So if you're just, getting here, what we're doing is we're, ask questions, any kind of question that you want. It doesn't have to be related to video editing. It can be honestly about anything. And, kind of discuss and unpack some things, some questions that you may have. And, the sky's the limit. Whatever questions you want to ask. Let's see who we still got here hanging out in the chats. All right, we have something here. Color edit, like short, please, teachers. I'm not really sure the question there. Are you asking about color correction, color grading? So I can kind of discuss and talk a little on color correction and color grading. So believe it or not, there's a difference in color correction and color grading. A lot of people have that. There's that misconception that they're the same thing. I thought the same thing whenever I was first getting started. It's like, what is color correction? What is color grading? They're the exact same thing. I just need to color grade all my videos. Well, that's not necessarily always true. Color correction, what it is, right? So what I do, I shoot on a Sony A7 IV. And I shoot my videos in S-Log3. Most of them, right? Depends on my lighting and situations and things like that. But I typically shoot in a flat picture profile. And you'll have clients that will shoot their videos in a flat picture profile, and they shoot that way to preserve dynamic range, and to make sure that they can bring back the highlights. They can bring back different colors, like in the sky and stuff, which are typically blown out depending on the time of day that you shoot. It can be very bright and very hard to correct. And so what you want to do is you want to take that flat picture profile and you want to make it replicate or match what the human eye naturally sees. That is color correction. You took that flat picture profile and you changed it into what the human eye naturally sees. Now, there's a lot of things that go into this, and we can definitely, if you want me to, I can do an entire video dedicated. I'm planning on doing a video about it, but I don't know if would you rather see it in a live stream format, or would you rather see it in a long form video, or would you probably rather see it in both? You know, we can do either one, but you know, you want to take that, you can't just rely on your eyes to look at your monitor. You definitely got to look at the scopes and different things like that, and it's a little bit more advanced when it comes to things. I'm not a colorist by any means, but I know how to color correct videos. And so what you want to do is make sure your skin tones look correctly. You want to make sure the colors right. So you can see like the different colors on my bookshelf back here. This is what the human eye naturally sees. But when you're shooting a flat picture profile, it's very desaturated. It's almost like black and white. It almost looks that way. So what you do is you go inside of Premiere and play around with the Lumetri color settings, and you will bring that color back using various different tabs and options that Premiere offers, and that color corrects your video. Now, color grading is a way of setting the mood, right? So you color corrected your video. You've gotten it to that starting point. And then what'll happen is when you color grade, you do it in a way to where it sets the mood or sets a certain tone for that film. Now, I'll give you an example, right? There's movies like The Matrix, right? The Matrix had all that like green eeriness going on to it in it. And so that was done strategically a specific way. That was a color grade. Sometimes when you have like a very blue, very dark blues and things like that, that can create like a very gloomy or like very sad vibe. And so you want to do that in a way to where it makes sense. You know, you see a lot of teal and orange out there and like a lot of travel videos. That's done specific in a specific way. It's color corrected to match the human eye. And then after that, it is color graded to give it that cinematic look. All right. Let's see. Everyone, please teach us shots color editing. Okay. I would definitely, do a video on that as well. That's one coming in the near future as far as like color correction and color grading. I'm due for a video on that. I definitely want to unpack that more. So yes, I would definitely do something on that. Let's see. How to be rich like Elon Musk. You got to be like I say smart, but you got to be. There's so many different things. It's very it's that's a very good question. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. But yeah. Let's see. Thanks for the tips and advice. I'll keep watching your channel for new tutorials and etc. Good night from the Philippines. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Take care. Leadership with Mike in the house. Good to see you here, sir. Not here for long, but huge congrats to you, buddy. Huge congrats to you. Leadership with Mike. I actually, when I was first getting started in YouTube, I did not, really have any direction. Didn't really know what I was doing. It's one of the first creators I collaborated with, and we've kind of just been stayed in contact for the longest time. It's so great being a creator, and being able to share experiences and things like that. You can have friends from all over the globe, and I just love that the relationship that I have with the different creators and things like that. Thank you so much for being here, man. I appreciate it. Thunder Eyes like evil. Please make a video. Where are you from? I am from okay, so I'm assuming like the Thunder Eyes like evil was something that was like an emoji or something. I'm actually from the just south of Atlanta. So I like just right under Atlanta, and I've lived here pretty much my whole life. Yeah. It is. It's great to connect. Absolutely, man. I wish you the best. You keep grinding. I see your hustle and stuff. I see things on Instagram. I see things like going up on YouTube, and I'm rooting for you, man. Just stay the course. That's the biggest thing is like keep your nose to the window and keep pressing forward. And then eventually things will start to happen, I feel like. But yeah, so cool, man. All right. What other questions do we got? I think we only have a few more minutes left in the stream. It just depends. All right. If you guys got a ton more questions, I got some time. I'm happy to, hang out here. But, if I'm taking up too much of your time, we can call it quits if we need to. Let me know any questions that you got. Or if and here's the big thing. Are you getting value out of this? If you're getting value out of this, just put a yes in the chat right now. How are you feeling with 50K? And thanks a lot for your suggestions. Honestly, it's surreal. I remember when I was first getting started, um, I got inspired to start making videos and stuff by various different content creators, Casey Neistat, Peter McKinnon, and things like that. And I saw like their growth and things. And honestly, I didn't think that I would ever reach 50,000 subscribers. Um, Dedication and things like that. I was committed and things. This is something that I love doing. I love making films. I love editing. I love all things content creation. And so I made I made a commitment to myself to kind of stay the course. So it's just crazy that we're actually here. I don't know what's going to happen if we make it to hopefully when we hit 100,000 subscribers. I don't know what's going to happen. It's just crazy. D-Rose says, yes, I'm so glad you're getting value out of this, man. What's your favorite sport? I would say my favorite sport is football, American football. I know nothing against football, soccer, or anything like that. I'm just a American football fan for sure. Congratulations on for 50K sub. Love you from India. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, we got about 5 more minutes, and I think we're going to wrap it up. Any last minute specific questions related towards video editing or anything like that? Again, yeah, thanks for being here. Um, it's crazy. It's a lot more people that I thought that would be hanging out, or there's a lot more people here in the chat than I thought there was going to be. I see we got something here for a year. D-Row asks, I have a yearly subscription to Envato, but I'm not going to. I have a yearly subscription to Envato, but I'm not going to renew. What is your favorite comparable to Envato? I love Storyblocks, and it just depends on what you have with Storyblocks. But if you have like their package where I don't necessarily know if they have music. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I use Storyblocks, and what I do is I'll use Storyblocks and I use Epidemic Sound for music, and both of them are like amazing. Any stop video that I need, Storyblocks has it, and any music that I have, Epidemic or ever want, Epidemic Sound always has it. And I think I have links to those down in the description below. You can check those out if you want to. And they will help you out. If not, just do a Google search for Storyblocks and you'll be able to check it out. They're fairly inexpensive. One of the biggest things too is I recommend that don't like you there's all these different things out there. There's free options as well. You can go to like Pexels video and stuff, Mixkit. There's a couple places where you can get free stock video, but everything that you get for free is going to always be limited. And go ahead and assume that any video that you get for free is probably already been used multiple times on multiple different videos. So you don't want to like, for example, right? You've seen that one video, that one piece of stock footage on like 25 different other videos because it was free. So just be very selective and make sure you're using, if you're using a free option, one that, updates their stuff very regularly. But you want to make sure that you have like find a company that really gives you your needs. And with Storyblocks, I haven't had any as far as like copyright issues and things like that. It's specific to my YouTube channel. No issues at all. Same thing with Epidemic Sound. If you don't just want like be worry free about it. That's a big thing as a creator, right? We worry about all these different things. Just the fact that I don't have to worry about copyright issues at all is just so good. So yeah, Epidemic Sound and Storyblocks. I've seen in the past like using Envato like copyright claims and issues, things that you have to dispute that don't even make any sense. Of helped other video editors that use Envato, and I've had like they've had to resolve those things and dispute them with YouTube, and typically they usually get resolved because they have that license. But the fact that it even gets flagged in the first place is kind of frustrating, and it's not efficient to have to constantly be working through those copyright claims. So yeah, absolutely. Storyblocks, Epidemic Sound. One thing, what I was saying though, is to make sure that you have like your money. You're bringing in money, right? Because if you're trying to make a job out of this, you're doing freelance work and stuff. You're going to want to make sure that you are, there's money coming in to be able to support and pay for those different services. Like I'm sure you probably know, paying for Envato and stuff like that. That money you should be replenishing the money that comes or that is taken out to be able to use those services. So that's just the best advice that I had. D-Row, I don't think I've given you anything. If you like, and this is totally up to you, I'm giving out some 30-minute consultations, video editing consultations. So if it's something that you're interested in, just let me know right here in the chat, and then we can go from there. But yeah, be more than happy. Some of the giveaways are let packs and in consultations and stuff like that. So if you're interested in a 30-minute consultation, man, just send me a link. Great question. I've dealt with Envato and stuff, so we can unpack that more. Absolutely. Um, what is disadvantages of denoise in Premiere? Okay, so the disadvantages of denoise in Premiere is that if you go too low or if you go too high, like you try to like take out too much noise in the background, it can like muddy it up the audio, and it just doesn't. It sounds like a robot, or sounds like you're like talking like all these little audio wave muffles. And then if you don't do enough, it doesn't actually get rid of the noise. So if you go too far on the low end, it could actually muddy it up. I say like just a light touch of denoise goes a long way whenever it comes to getting rid of that noise in the background. Rayman, please tell me some passive income ideas as a video editor. Love from Pakistan. Absolutely, man. Some ways of getting passive income. Now, if you want to be a YouTuber or your content creator, rather, I say that it's just I hate whenever I get called a YouTuber and stuff. And I always refer to myself as a creator. Nothing against YouTube or anything, but I feel like there's some sort of a stigma associated with when you get called a YouTuber. I don't care. Call me YouTuber, whatever. Anyways, yeah. So some of the things that you can do as a content creator making videos on YouTube is you have AdSense as a way of doing it, right? And as a video editor, with that, if you're monetized, you're with the YouTube Partner Program, you bring in passive income through that because you make content that gets views. You may have made content. I have videos that I made 2 years ago that are still bringing in revenue. But then you have also products that you can make, right? So you can make digital products like for as video editor, LUT packs, transition packs, sound packs, VFX packs, motion graphics, transitions, all these things. And so you can do that. And what happens is you create yourself like an online store, and then you allude to those things, or you market those things in a way in your videos, and then from there, people will start buying. I mean, there's so many times throughout the day, and this isn't, I don't like just me like bragging or anything, but there's times throughout the day where I'll randomly get a notification or something that somebody bought one of my packs or something. I'm like, well, that's to me, that's passive income, right? While you're sleeping and things like that. So those are just a few of the different ways that you can go about it as a video editor, because you know how to do all these different things. And then, you're obviously working on Fiverr and things like that. You can do freelance work that way, but that's not necessarily the passive income. But and you can work with brands too. Like there's so many different things. But the passive income ways, like I said, which is really just create those digital products, and then being monetized on YouTube and things like that are good ways to help. Good question. Thank you. I uploaded footage of me being tipped over by a seal and used Envato, and there's a copyright claim. You made my day knowing I'm not nuts in this regard. Yeah, man, it happens more often than not with Envato. I'm not knocking Envato. I don't know what the whole issue is there, because Envato has really good stuff. But I just know, like, whenever I've done consultations with other video editors, that the trend just seems to be like they're dealing with a lot of copyright issues. So, yeah. Instagram ID name, please. Just go in there and you can just search Tyler White, or I think I have my Instagram link down in the description below. All right. Any other questions? What other questions can I answer for you guys? What do we want to talk about? Is there anything else you want to talk about? Let's see. Let me go back. I'm gonna hop back over here to I'm gonna hop back over to Premiere real quick, and I'll kind of show you a little bit of what I was talking about. Um, with some of this color correction stuff, right? So if you go into here, like you see, I have my clip down on the timeline. What I'm going to do is this. Let's do this real quick. Get rid of this. Get rid of the sequence. Let's go ahead and create a new sequence itself, and we'll go ahead and do a 1080p 24 frame per second timeline, and then let's just go ahead and add a clip onto there. So that's not a good one. That's not a good one. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's just go this one. This one will be a little bit difficult, and you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. So this is just a clip from whenever I was in Sweden, hanging out with the Epidemic Sound team and a bunch of good creators like Steve that you guys saw in the chat earlier. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here and we're going to open up the Lumetri color tab, and that'll come up right over here. And then we'll start off over here in basic correction. Next, what I'll do is I'm gonna go back up here to window and I'm gonna make sure that I have lumetri scopes checked. And I'm gonna go over here to lumetri scopes. And so you might have to play around with this a little bit. And so you're gonna use these three things here. You're gonna use your vector scope YUV, which is this big circle here, this guy right here. You're gonna use your parade RGB, which is this thing here. And then you are going to use your waveform RGB, which is this thing right here. All right. And then so basically what you're going to do, this is the scientific way of looking and knowing what your colors are doing. So already looking at this is a flat picture profile. You can see that this does not look good at all. So what you want to do is first add in a little bit of saturation. So I like to go right around 125. That's a good rule of thumb for me, right? So 125, no higher, any higher than that, it's going to start to look really bad. Now this image may not be usable. I don't really think it's going to be usable, but we're going to see what we can do to try to bring these highlights back. Just because this is an issue, a very common issue with video editors. So next thing we're going to do is let's bring in some contrast. And so you can kind of see as I'm bringing in that contrast, notice that these are starting to change, right? So what this means is this, right? So you have this here, which is your waveform RGB. 0 is going to represent your whites. I'm sorry, 100 is going to represent your whites, and 0 is going to represent your blacks. So what you want to do, and these are all the colors in between across the entire clip. So basically, this is a color or a data version of this image right here. Believe it or not, this is the same image as this. It just like, wow, that's weird, right? So what you have up here, these like are closer to the white, and this represents your sky. That's why it's so high up there. This one right here represents kind of like your saturation. So if you see, like if I were to go all the way up in my saturation, this little blob extends out. I would recommend not really going much further than where it's at right here. I like to go about just halfway to the circle. And this line right here represents your skin tone line. All right. This is what your skin tone should match on all skin tones. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that these colors kind of spread out. And if we have any blacks in our image, we need to get closer to the blacks here. So I'll add in some contrast, and you can see it increases the whites and it decreases, the blacks. And so I'll add that into, let's go like 86 is probably fine. And that's essentially like, this is one thing that I kind of compare it to. Curves and contrast when it comes to your RGB curve are very similar. And like meaning that this is your 0, this is your 100. This affects your whites, and this affects your blacks. So, again, and this is your shadows, this is your midtones, and this is your highlights. When we bring our highlights down, we start to get some sky back. We bring our shadows down, we start to make this over here extend down to more like what the color is supposed to be. It looks like we need to bring some midtones down as well to kind of spread those colors out. Not too terribly much. And again, it looks like we're going to have a too blown out of an image because some of this stuff is just not able to be brought back. But we'll play around with it just because. And you're going to look at it, and if it's too muddied up, it can't be saved. And so with this clip here, I think playing around with it, let's go ahead and adjust the shadows a little bit. Bringing those shadows down and then drop down the whites. Yeah, we're not going to be able to save this image, but you get the concept. Let's do one really quickly to where you actually can, so you can see an image that can be saved, right? So this is a very like what happens is whenever it's not shot in the camera correctly, it's overexposed in the camera. What details the camera wasn't able to capture, you won't ever be able to bring back inside of post. So this one right here, very good details and stuff like that, right? So what we'll do is we'll go right here. That's Willie. He was at the Epidemics Creator Summit as well. So we'll go in here and let's go ahead and open back up our lumetri scopes, and let's find that starting point. One thing I failed to mention is this is your white balance here. So you can see the red's a little higher than the blue here. So in order to kind of fix that, what I'll do is I will just take a little bit of that warmth out, and you want all these to be the same height. You want them to all be level and the same, or right around the same. That was a little warm. That's a little bit too warm. That is proper white balance. And now you can see that the skin tone line is pretty much where it should be at because we're using his skin tones as a reference. So go ahead and I'll bring in the saturation to about 125 like I always do. And then let's go ahead and add a little bit of contrast. It's starting to look pretty good. Let's drop the shadows down a little bit, just a touch. Now we're looking at their scopes down here too, because we make all of our decisions based off of the scopes here. We need to get some. Does he have anything black? All right, so he's got a black hat here. So this should be his hat. Let's bring those blacks down a little bit. One thing that we don't want to happen is we don't want those blacks to crush, and we don't want the whites to clip. So if we were to bring those those highlights way up, they probably won't even clip in this type of image. But we don't want to. We want to make sure that we want it just barely to touch. So I'll bring those blacks down just so they barely touch right there, and we're already starting to get a better looking image. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and let's go ahead see where we're at. One thing that you want to do, you can check exposure. So when you're thinking about exposure for your specific like scene, you want to think about what you're exposing for. Well, the model in this right here is going to be Willie, right? So in order to find out whether or not Willie is properly exposed, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a quick mask. So I'm going to go back over here to Effect Controls, go down to my opacity and create a circle mask. All right. And then I'm just going to hold down Shift, bring this circle in a little bit smaller, go right to his face. I don't want to include the blacks. Now I may need to zoom in a little bit. I don't want to include the blacks. I just want to include his face, right? Because that's the thing that we want to be able to see. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over to my Lumetri scopes, move this over just a little bit so that it just registers. And now you can see that we've isolated his face. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in right here. All right, let's make sure his face is isolated. Yeah, it's good enough. All right. Make sure it's updated. And I'd say it's pretty decently exposed. All right. We want this to usually fall somewhere between like the 70 range. So if you wanted to come up like 0.1, you could, or maybe even like 0.2. And so what that does is it brings up the exposure to where it needs to be at. And now we want to look at this skin tone thing here. So what I can do is I'll make this a little bit bigger so you can see. Wrong way. We'll make the skin tone. That's not going to let me do it. I'm just going to look at the skin tone line, and I want it. It's actually a little bit on the yellow side. So I want to make this a straight line. And so what I'll do to fix that is I'll go over here to the color curves. I'm going to go down here to hue versus hue. Click on that area that's probably, the true skin tone. And then what I'll do is I'm going to grab that orange, which is typically what most skin tones are going to fall under. And I'm going to bring that up towards the red because the red is located here. So I'm going to bring it up just a little bit, and you can watch that line kind of move up in real time. So now that is going to be more like what his skin tone should be. Now it's straight. So then go back over here to Effect Controls. Go ahead and go to that mask and delete it. And let's go ahead and zoom back out. And you can kind of see it before and after. This is before, this is after. Very subtle, very subtle. Doesn't make much of a difference, but everything else in the image is a lot more cleaned up. Now, for me, I'm going to probably go ahead and, work on this a little bit, work at this a little bit more, but that was very, very quickly how to do that, just bouncing it based off of the scopes and also basing it off of the different things in the Lumetri color tab. All right, let me look back over here. All right, so I'll send you a short video on Instagram. Please teach us. Right. Last question. Any suggestions? Cameras under any suggestions? Cameras over $150 or no $1,500. I've been using my GoPro and would like to upgrade. Can't really zoom with GoPro, but it's great if you're getting tipped over in a kayak. Yeah, absolutely. I would say that, some good inexpensive cameras out there, like the Sony ZV-1 is very good. I don't even know what it's going for right now. Let me do a quick check real quick, but Sony ZV-1 is good. There's also options out there like the Canon M50 was a very good camera. Very inexpensive. Yeah, the Sony ZV-1 is extremely inexpensive. It just really kind of depends on what you're doing. It's like going for like $750 right now. It looks like on Amazon. Sony ZV-1 is very good. The Canon M50 is really good. I used a Sony A6500. The Sony A6600 or A6400 are very good cameras. The 6500 is a little bit dated now. And I still use it. Like if I'm ever doing like weddings and things like that, it's always my backup camera because it still has a lot of power to it. but the batteries die like super quickly. But those are just a few of them. Just know whenever you buy a camera, or when you start investing into lenses and things for those specific cameras, you start committing to those brands and stuff like that. Because like I have all this glass up here, right? So I have, this is a 6500. This is this is a 18 to 135. This is a Sony lens that came with that camera, and then this is a Sigma 35 or 30 millimeter. Yeah, 30 millimeter, 16 millimeter, and what's on is a 56 millimeter. Those are all crop sensor lenses. And then I have my Sony A7 IV, which I have over here in my bag. But those, that I can use all that glass on my Sony camera. So just be mindful of that whenever you go to buy a camera and stuff, that, when you start buying lenses, you're kind of committing to that brand. Good question. Happy Halloween, buddy. Happy Halloween to you. Hey, let me know in the comments. Are you dressing up for Halloween? Or are you doing anything special at all? Are you going to like a Halloween party? Let's see. What kind of videos you like? I like all kinds of videos. I like comedy stuff. I like, uh, suspenseful action. I like travel videos. I like vlogs. It's all kinds of videos. Some of the things that I kind of stay away from are like, I don't know. I like documentaries too. It's really hard to say. I'm not very picky when it comes to different types of videos, as long as it piques my interest, right? I'm not going to be watching things that I'm not very interested in, right? So try to think of something that I'm not very, like flying kites. I don't really fly kites unless, I'm doing it with my little girl or something, but that's about it. All right. What kind of works are better to make for a portfolio? I'm assuming you mean like what kind of videos are better to make for your portfolio. I would say the types of videos, like what happens is you can make reels and things like that. You can do a compilation of all your videos into one video, and that's a good way of being able to showcase what you do. And when I say reels, I don't mean like Instagram reels. I'm saying like almost like a hype reel of all of your videos and stuff that you can send to clients that way. You can also whatever works best for your portfolio is like, just depends on what you want to do, right? You want to be a wedding videographer, you do wedding videos. You can work for free. Like I definitely recommend that. There's so much power in working for free in order to establish your portfolio. It sucks that you have to take time out of your day to work for completely for free, but a lot of times if you do a good job, that the client will end up giving you a tip and stuff like that. So I would definitely target those videos that you're, the people that you want to try to work for, right? So if you want to do real estate videography, then do real estate videos and things like that. That's going to be the better portfolio. So it's really specific to what type of videos you want to make. And with every single one of those videos, make sure you're editing them like and modeling how you edit them around what that specific style is. If you were to put a real estate video on, if you were to do a real estate video for a company, and you sent them to them with like some sad little violin sounds going on in the background, or like some, I don't know, some super like upbeat rap music or something, they're probably not going to like it. It's going to need to sound you're going to want more of that corporate style music. Whereas like if you're doing a wedding film, you could put piano and things like that in there. Like, but if you were to put like in a wedding film, like some corporate sound, people wouldn't become attached to it. So you just got to, base your portfolio off of what you would like to do. And if you want to have like an extensive like amount of clients, then make real estate content, make wedding content, make commercial content, do all that, and just have it all live in your portfolio. And then when you reach out to clients, send them that portfolio, and they can kind of look at it, and always have your best work in your portfolio. Don't put just anything in there. Always have your best work in there. I hope that answers your question. D-Ro, I work in ER. I'll be dressed as a Cookie Monster for pediatrics PT. That's awesome. Then as Ferris Bueller for after work party. Awesome, man. Okay, well, I think that that's going to wrap it up for the day. Thank you so much for being here. Again, thank you so much for 50,000 subscribers. Just freaking unbelievable that we hit this milestone. And I look forward to many, many more different milestones. I hope we make it to 100,000 subscribers. If we can make it to 100K by this coming up year, that would be outstanding, and just be crazy, because my goal is to to eventually go full-time on this thing and be a full-time creator, because if I get to that point, I'm going to be able to serve. I'm sorry, my dogs are barking in the background. I'm going to be able to serve a lot more videos and be able to be there a lot more often. So again, if you got value out of this stream today, subscribe if you got some sort of value, share this with someone else. And if you're here on the replay, thank you so much for checking this out. I hope you got some value, and I will see you guys in the next video.